And we're live. Audio, hopefully better today. I'll talk louder. Working on Kong. Hopefully this may be the last night. I'm not going to do a lot. While I did what I did while we were gone, I just took some plain black transparent, not the smoke, and sprayed in some even deeper shadows on there. I have not sealed the kit yet, so you still see some shiny areas. Let me pull up this so I can just, it's easier to me see chat sometimes sticking that there. So you still see some shiny areas where it has not been, had some flat Krylon matte on there to knock back that shine and seal everything up, so it still looks shiny in some spots. But I am pretty happy with the way the base is turning out and the way he's turning out. Worked on the nameplate. I can kind of pull that up a little closer. I like the drastic contrast there from the light. All I'm gonna do today is reinforce some of those highlights and some of that gray with a smaller brush and just pick out some places, even on his fur, on his fingers a bit. I'm gonna do the eyes, I think. And I think my goal with the eyes was to use a little bit better paint. I was going to probably use Pallid Witch Flesh. It's kind of an off-white. It still has a little bit of like brown in it, so it looks a little like a flesh color. And then do a little bit of highlight with white, so it's just not straight white. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll do that a little bit later. I just want to get on with some minimal re-highlighting of things and dry brushing. Jamie is walking around upstairs, so you hear her stomping around. And that's it. We'll get started. I'll spend about an hour today probably and go from there. May finish. Like I said, I probably want to do the teeth a little more like white on there too. But let's just start with the base. I'm going to bring out some of those highlights again. I pulled back a bit on the palette cam so you can see a little better. So again, for those of you who weren't here the last time or didn't check out the other video, there you go. That's where I am with just my basic gray. And I'm using, I haven't used any straight white yet, which today probably is going to be a little different. I've been using parchment and unbleached titanium for highlights. So I'm going to stay with that for now. I'm going to probably just stick with parchment and then move on to just some titanium white for some final highlights on places. So here we go. Or look today. Squeezing that down. No, I'm wearing good shorts. I wasn't thinking. So I got to try and be careful. Which, for me, never works well, ever. I'm tired. And let's see how it goes. So I'm going to try and split the palette with the paper towels, if I can do that. So you can kind of see where the colors... Nope, not working. There, maybe. Where I'm dry brushing. Okay. It's getting off some of that white. It's probably better to see this than that. Here we go. Again, this is the big brush, just knocking in some of those highlights that I lost when I was doing some of the shading. Just bringing them back, some of the higher points. I'm not doing any of the underneath. See how this is nice and dark here? I'm going to leave that. We're forcing that perspective of highlights. So especially like down this root tentacle thing, I'm just hitting here. I'm not going to do any there, and then I'm going to come back and hit there. I'm going to skip the leaf because I'm going to do that a little differently. Hitting just there, down the center, and here. I'm going to move this over here today. Thanks. Okay. And I'm going to set the nameplate aside. It's easier for me to work on that by itself. Some of this rock. Now, if you remember, I purposely sprayed some straight smoke under here to create more of a shadow. I did not worry about this log because I want that to pop out a little more. So I'm just hitting these rocks. Might not look like I'm doing much on camera. Let me pull it in a little more. See if I can get it any further. Please don't lock up. Please don't lock up. Okay. So yeah, that's where we are. So I'm just kind of working on the tops of these things. And notice I have not gone back in a while and got any paint off of my dry brush area. It's pretty good on there. I did spray, I think you can probably see it, I went and sprayed a little of that straight black on his nails to darken them up a bit. Just hitting those toes a tiny, tiny bit. Top of this root. Down the side, this side here. Pick up some of this paint. Thanks for the host again. This is going to be brighter there. Let me get a little bit of this mixed with a little bit of gray. A little more gray. It's about the same. All right. Wipe it off most of that. Okay. Again, thinking where the light would hit things, and that's it. Click on this leaf, hit this part. We get a better brush for that later. Just hitting that center edge on there, bringing a little more in here. Pretty freeing to be able to work on a project and not have to worry about all sorts of colors. Kind of get your brain working in a different way. Some of his toes, hit some of that. Gonna hit this knee. You'll see that a little better later. All right. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I'm gonna go to a smaller brush, so I'm not getting it everywhere. All right, just getting a little more of that. Now I'm gonna start to pick out individual spots. This isn't so much, this is pretty wet. I'm hitting up here. And again, a little more painterly, not so much dry brushing there. And I think you can see this part of the leaf right there is almost all black. Really dark gray right there, and I'm just in that because that would be in shadow. So I'm just hitting some of these vines, picking out where they would be gray and not worrying. Okay, plants. These Armory brushes, Army Painter, not Armory, sorry. Army Painter brushes, this small dry brush, these wedge ones, I love them. They're great for all sorts of things. Now I want a little bit of separation here, so I'm gonna make a new area of just almost really pale gray, so I can pick out some leaves that are on top of other gray things, so they separate a bit. And some of those vines. Okay. Just gonna kind of keep doing that in here. I'm not gonna worry about him so much yet. I want to get this base kind of where I want it and done, so I don't have to think about it anymore. Still just doing unbleached parchment. I'm sorry, parchment and that charcoal gray. Let me angle this down just a little more. All right, pick out some really high points. Now the splintered wood here with this log, I'm gonna just get that edge a little more. Some of that's in shadow, but picking on some of these lines that got lost. That's the airbrush compressor that has a very slow leak in it that I need to fix. So that goes off once in a while. Okay. Some final rock highlights. Maybe. All right. Now, onto him. I'm going to go back and darken this mix up a bit. Ooh, I forgot to turn this on. That helps a little. So like this hand, I can even see it's picking up my hand, not that. And these, again, these lights are blowing this out. I'm just gonna barely hit that with a little bit of that brighter and on here. Same with up here. That knuckle on his nose. A little more. Although when that light hits it, it really looks like it already is. His brows. And those teeth. Now the teeth. I don't know how to get you to see this. Let's do it that. Ah! Frightening. I'm hitting the front of them here especially. Almost straight. Thanks for the host, man. If you're watching, thank you. I'm just trying to highlight those teeth and blend that color together. It's really stark right there, which I don't like. Let's pull this out. See where we're at. Okay. Let's toes for a second. Brows again. Just some of that tooth color. Very edge of the nose. Barely noticeable. I'm going to go back to that big brush in a second. The top of his ears, just barely. And just a little at the very top of his chest. A little bit. Don't like how the colors get washed out. What if I turn off? Do one light each instead of two. a little better. All right. Those eyes. Let's go there, because it's driving me nuts not seeing his eyes. All right, Pallid Witch Flesh from Citadel Games Workshop is what I'm going to use. I am going to thin it down not quite a bit, but a bit. And this is going to be tough, because I can't really pick him up and palm him to get nice balance feel, but let's see. Let's see what we can do. I don't know the way to put this camera so you can see it on this. It's a little too much. Let's see if we can do this. He looks funny. I was going to try and block out the irises, but I'm just going to paint the whole thing white first. I feel like I have a baby on my lap. I'm going to hit that with a hair real quick. All right, now, since, again, not trying to make these look like real eyes, so I'm not worrying about putting any pink in there or anything else. This is just black and white, trying to look like the puppet. Couple coats of this Pallid Witch Flesh on here. It should be ready to go. Ah, I think I keep scratching his back with that. There's a tiny little defect right there. All right. It's heavy. Let's see what his eyes look like. Okay. Get that big dry brush out again. Originally, like I said, I was going to have him kind of looking down, which I'm still going to try and do. Those eyes really make his face pop a bit. Now, I'm going to bring that color real quick onto his teeth a little bit. Just in these center teeth. Give me 1 second. I gotta check something. Going out the black door. Alright. I think the base is done. Eyes. Dry brush. Alright. Don't want to ruin any of my work that I did 2 days ago back to making a pretty light gray. Very minimal. Very, very minimal dry brushing here. Just pick out some very... Get most of this off my brush. Hit this for a final, just kind of drag highlight down. It's almost the same, a little brighter. So you pull that up, boom. Oh, even though this is the back of the nameplate, I'm still going to tackle that a bit. It looks in there. I think the way it's going to have to be on the shelf is like this, so it's going to go there. Alright, going to use that same. Again, I just want to pick up this knee a little bit. Pick up this part of the arm a little bit. This shoulder a bit, because I feel like that is falling out of my highlight. Top of the head. A little bit down the back. My arm's in the way. And I was right. I did nick off some of that. And my hair tying. Okay. I just realized I had my coffee next to my water, which never works out well. All right, back to highlights. Just some, that's almost too much. Just popping on his head, down here. That part of the fingers, that part of the hand, down there a little bit, not much, a little bit on, how do I get this on camera? Why are you stuck? Come back, focus. Come back, focus. There we go. My arm screwed it up. So again, yeah, a little on there. On his chest. There. Just in some of these rolls real fast. This part of the foot, the front part of the foot, because this would be more shadow. Gonna hit on those rolls. A little bit there. And I think I'm about happy with all that. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. So, eyes. Now, since he has really dark, let's bring up that picture again. He has really dark irises and pupils. It almost looks like there really isn't a difference there at all. So I'm going to do black and a really dark gray to see if there is sort of a change there. I don't know. Might not even be able to pick it up. But I kind of want, again, like him looking down a bit and to the side. Let me get rid of that. But that's what I'm going for. So I gotta kind of think it's mostly, doesn't have a lot of white in his eyes. It's mostly that iris and pupil. I'm gonna leave that up for a second. Okay. Do I draw it or just straight paint it first? Let's straight paint it. Okay. Where? Let's use this. I'm going to take some transparent black and like just a tiny bit of that charcoal. Kind of mix them together. Now, I have to do this again. This time I'm putting the towel there. So let's see if we can get eyes. Will this focus? It should. Yeah. Every time I take my hand away, it doesn't though. Let's go with that. Okay. So just checking. I already messed up. Got a little spot that I didn't want. Go in there. So I might need a little more. That way? Yeah. You see what I did there? Just kind of blocked them in. Now this one I think needs that. Okay, so I'm going to paint all this. To get an idea if I like it or not. I'm not worried if it gets on the eyelids or anything. Okay, let me back this off. I'm looking at it from a distance to see if I got my placement right. Yeah, I think so. He's looking down. He's aiming this way. Like, let me get rid of this. So he's kind of like looking down. I'm going to smash you. Like, almost backing up a bit. I'm afraid, but I'm still going to smash you. Kind of look. So let's see if we can pull this off. Now, just using some more of that transparent black. To fill that in. Ugh, I knew it. I can't do it while it's up here. Let's see if I can just knock that off. I got a tiny bit where I didn't want it. Cool thing about Comart is a little bit of water can just kind of take it off sometimes. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a horrible thing. Because it is an airbrush paint, so you're not supposed to be brush it on. See how that reactivated that? So, but now use a little bit more of that straight gray mixed in there. As an iris to kind of highlight that. I'll do more black paint later in that part. Let that dry. I really want to seal this because it keeps scuffing. I see some spots where it did. Of course. Like I said, I'm a clod and break everything. Not a big problem. Okay. So let's take a step back. See what it looks like. Those eyes. Still have to do the iris. Those are just blocked in basically. But that's where we're at. I like it. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to do a final. That one looks a little wonky, but freehanding circles, always fun. Yeah. That's okay. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I'm going to hit those in a minute. What did I want to do? Wash. I'm going to take a slightly bigger brush. Not my normal wash brush that I like to use, but I'm going to use this Winsor Newton one. And I'm just going to where is it? My Nuln Oil, which is a great black wash. And I'm just going to kind of hit spots. I spilled green stuff on here, so it looks like it's green, but it's actually black. So let's come back down, base, toes. I'm just going to kind of use this in some spots to deepen some things up that need to be deepened. Or if I see like down here, there's the primer didn't get in that spot. Just going to throw a little bit of this on there. Just kind of dabbing. I don't want to ruin this brush though. The nails. I'm going to go over the nails with this. So they're super dark, so they look a little shiny because I have a feeling they would have made those a little shinier. It's just going to darken them. And then when it gets sealed, it'll just look like a little darker value and not be this. This dries really matte, which is good. I put a little bit under this leaf. Up there. Bring it down. Or anywhere I need to just kind of create a quick little shadow. I'm going to place it like even in there. The lizard's pretty good, but I want to get his eye a little darker, his nose. There. Let's hit, just looking at the, kind of helps to look at the camera screen to see what needs to pop, what needs to be knocked back. Put a little under there. Throw some of this in his nose. In between his fingers. I'm not using this brush anymore. This brush is too good to do that with. It's just the right size. Let me grab this brush, this Citadel brush I was using. I don't care much for it. So here we go. Kind of hitting in there. So this will have to dry for a little while, at least like 40 minutes to an hour before I can do anything with it seal wise. So I'll have to stop there for today, but I'm going to finish those eyes. I think there's really not much to do, so I'm going to call it probably quits after this video, and you could find finished pictures on Instagram. I'll put them up when I get them shot. Some of that in there. Where else? Just get back around there. Just in maybe a little in these grooves of that vine. Yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to do with this. Get in some spots that needed it. Put too much in there. A little more control than with overspraying. Now you can kind of see the nail. Oh, you can't really see. The nails dried. They're not really shiny anymore and certain everywhere around. All right, those eyes. How are we gonna do that? I almost want to do it with this stuff, but I'm just gonna throw a little bit of black paint down. Reaching over. Just some Vallejo black. Negro. And I'm going to use this same brush while it's wet. And now I'm just doing pupil. I know my hand's in the way, but no other really way to do this. Oh, maybe there. And I'm not so much worried about trying to make this eye look real by putting styrations and highlights and shadows in it. I really just want it to look dark. Because it would be like a dark brown. I'm guessing. this other eye. Same thing. Okay. I think that's it. Put that up. Now that base, you'll notice it's still got, because that's where I was planning on gluing them, so I have not glued or painted where his feet go. So if I pick him up, you'll see it's still green under there. I'm going to glue him on there. So I didn't want to paint on there yet, so let's look at that. Let's bring this back a little up. So you kind of get that look. That works. Oh wait, why'd you get loose? There. That's actually, that's pretty close to what I wanted. All right. I am going to let that wash dry. How long have I been going now? Almost an hour. I'm going to let that wash dry. I'm going to spray them. Maybe I'll do a quick just recap after things go. I don't know. We'll see, but let's see if I can get a full shot of him. See how terrible my workbench looks. Up and down. Yeah. It's all right. It's pretty close. So let's let that dry. I'll catch back maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday, and see where we are. I really like the way the nails, his toenails dried, just slightly darker, give it a nice value change. The rest of it, I mean, that looks pretty good. Shadows are in the right place. I'm hoping the Krylon does not gray it up at all. It's kind of humid out. I want that to come out really well. But there we are. All right. Thanks for joining me tonight. There weren't many people on. Two people. Hopefully people get to catch up on it later. I'll let those eyes dry. I might add a little more to that. But I'm pretty happy. I'm happy, I think, with how it turned out. Let me turn off this light. Just try in different lights, see what it looks like. Let's knock this light off. Dramatic overhead lighting. All right. Let's turn off one more light. Now it's starting to lose. Let's try this. One light there. One light there. That looks pretty cool, actually. Let's turn off all the lights. And that's just the overhead up on top. So that kind of works. You can see how it's not as blown out. Almost needs to be blacker. In person, it's really dark. On there, I think the camera's adding, it's compensating for the low light. So bring them all back up. And there we have it. I'll talk to you later.